Hi, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of the Bostrom b.cast. And I am so excited to have our next guest, Rob Wenger with Higher Logic. He is the CEO and founder. And welcome to the podcast, Rob.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was so excited about having this conversation today. Bostrom's been using Higher Logic for quite a few years, but you truly have become a strategic partner for us, a technology partner for us, because our agile approach to association management marries so well with what Higher Logic is doing from a flexible, scalable, and innovative suite of tools like community, like marketing automation, and all of the integrations and partnerships you've used that we can leverage. That makes our job a lot more effective. So thank you again for being on the podcast. And if it's okay, I'm just going to jump right in with our questions.
Yeah, of course.
Great. I do like to start these conversations out exploring the path that led you where you are today. We all come from different, worlds into the association management world and the association industry. So how did your background in tech and entrepreneurship shape the evolution of your career?
Well, so I am a software developer by trade, right? Computer science. I've been writing software since I was 11, I think. My dad was a computer scientist and a roboticist, so I had all of that stuff like super, super early, and was always just like loving programming. And still, I do it, probably half my time today. But yeah, so 1999, I guess I am a serial entrepreneur. So I think it was my second company, in 1999. We focused on the association world. I grew up in DC, and associations are big in DC, Virginia, Maryland, right? You can't walk by a building without seeing 5 association logos on it. So
right.
It was a natural fit. We did web software, like member self-service way before that was a thing. And so that's what got me into the market. And I just love working with associations, good people, good missions, advancing the world. And I think, we'll talk about this later, hopefully, but that's going to be a huge thing, over the next few years. So yeah. And then just, making more and more member facing software is where we started. And then, this seemed to be the way to go. It was like what do associations? They're communities. So what do we do with software? Take it online. And that was a pretty simple idea at the beginning, that led to where we are today.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Higher Logic has grown significantly over the years and has become a staple not only in the association tech ecosystem, but in Bostrom's. When you look back at the early days, what do you think was the biggest turning point for Higher Logic?
Well, so I think that where we are today and what we planned matches pretty well. I mean, obviously, to your point, we have grown a whole lot. It's been 17 years. And it was just 4 people in a basement, and now it's, 300 people internationally. And so, a lot of just, what is the next thing? What is the next thing kind of growth. But yeah, no, I mean, the original idea of bringing people together online and then recording that for future use, it's still what we do. So I think, we've expanded the scope quite a bit, 10x. But really the original idea is the same. So I think it's been an interesting and fun journey. And of course, I don't know if everyone knows that I was one of the founders, right? And then I retired 7 years ago. I started another company in the space, credentialing, but then came back just because I was so excited about the new technologies and what we'd be able to do. All the things I wanted to do, 7 years ago, 10 years ago, that were just difficult or impossible are now possible. Mm-hmm. And so, it was definitely an interesting time to come back and use these technologies, AI being one, but automation, analytics. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's just so much more accessible now than it was then. Bringing that to associations is it's a passion. We talk, when we see each other, how passionate we both are about this stuff. So Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I don't know if I answered your question. I
Yes,
kind
you
of lose
did.
track sometimes,
Yeah.
but
It leads into a little bit of the next one. So, you've long been an advocate for digital community building.
yes.
How has the role of online communities for associations changed post pandemic, and where are we headed next?
Yeah, so I mean, I think the principles are the same, right? Associations, if you go back 100 years, it was about getting people to talk to each other and share ideas and make standards and specifications and all that kind of stuff, and that's all still true. I think where the change is going to come, I don't know that the pandemic. It definitely made a change in that people are no longer in offices as much as they used to be. And so online communications like what we're doing today or Zoom meetings or those kinds of things have become much more just normal. And so I think we saw that happen during the pandemic. People were communicating through our tools and others like it. And so certainly advanced, but it was more of an evolution than a revolution. The revolution is AI. And I think it's a revolution not just in technology, but in the way associations are going to do business, but also in the way associations are going to affect the world. I really think that everything that we have been doing, and you being Bostrom or associations have been doing, has kind of led up to a really interesting point in the world right now where AI is great at answering questions based on other questions that have been asked in the past. It's great at bringing together, disparate sources of information and generating answers. It's great at creating, well-written documents from past stuff. But what I think I had worried about originally before coming back to Higher Logic was, well, where's it going to go? Like, what's going to happen when, I always use the analogy from that Pixar movie, when we're sitting around on our floating lawn chairs drinking milkshakes, like what's going to happen in terms of advancing the world? But associations do that, right? Associations create journals, real original research, journal specifications, standards, answer questions, make thoughts that move things forward. And so I think it's interesting that we, being the association world, are right in the right place to make a big difference in the world going forward. Everything we have in the past, and by we, I mean you mostly, right? Associations. All that content that's been generated is not necessarily accessible to the public AIs. You have an opportunity to make that available to your members, or if your mission, dictates it to the world. But the original stuff, right? The original stuff will still be generated by associations, where that's going to be less and less a thing that corporations do, I think. So between associations and research institutions, colleges, universities, those kinds of things, that's where the real thinking is going to come. And I think it sort of is just going to be more obvious, right, that what associations contribute than it has been in the past.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, I feel like the communities within associations already have the emerging leaders, the students. They, we understand what that connection is. The industry leaders, the academic leaders, and like you said, the journals and the papers, and all of those things. There's already this ecosystem for them, and the strength of that content and the impact that community can have is so strong that it's really just leveraging, what are these tools we have to make sure those communities thrive and that they contribute and have mission impact, whether it's a digital community or whether it's an on-site conference. Our conference numbers are just getting blown away. People want to be together, maybe not as much as they were or in the work settings as they were, but it's a very, very interesting time. And I think you're right. The associations are just so well positioned for what is happening now. And you talked about AI, and it's everywhere, and everyone's talking about it and how it's impacting industries. And we have an AI council, and we're doing a lot of training and trying to understand digital IQ that we're bringing into the company and as a talent, But I think it's interesting how you view AI and what you're doing with it in the context of community and engagement going forward. So talk a little bit about your AI strategy.
Yeah, there's a lot of components to it. So one of them, the first one that's out and is the most obvious, is the AI assistant, the chatbot, right,
Yeah.
interface. So we have built into our software a chatbot that is aware of all of the content that is in the community. And we have tools to put more content into it, right? So whether it's putting it into the community or putting it just into the chatbot, the idea that it will become the expert on the industry or sort of the face of it, right? So I feel like most software interfaces are going to go to chat interfaces. Why do I need to poke through a bunch of menus to find a form to enter one field or change one switch when I can just say to the AI, hey, can you change this for me? And it can do it, right? So I think things are going to move in that direction. And so the chat interface is huge. Start it with all the content in the community, all the discussions, all the shared resource documents, all the glossary entries and so forth. But then add to it the journal and the standard and the spec and, the marketing materials and all that sort of stuff. So you can essentially chat with the content, right? So that's sort of the first thing. The second thing is what I alluded to, the doing, right? So, we have a proof of concept that we'll be releasing this year. We'll release the real software this year, where you can say to the AI something like, what webinars you have coming up, and it can read it from the database, knows who you are, knows the kind of stuff you're interested in, shows you those webinars, and I could say, oh, number 2 looks interesting. Can you register me for that? And it will, right? Say, see you Thursday, right?
Awesome.
So it's called agentic or agents, right? So agents doing things by communicating and talking like we're talking, right? So I talk to ChatGPT and Claude and there was one called Cursor I use all day long, and I talk to it like we're talking, right?
Yeah.
I have conversations, and I interact with it the way I interact with humans because it will come up with new things. If you might not need to thank an AI, right? You may not need to say, well, here's what I ended up doing. But when I do that, I find that it comes up with, well, now what you could do is X. You know what I mean? Like, it's answered my question, and I said it worked or it didn't work, and we have a conversation. At the end of it, it's like, all right, now that you got that working, how about this? And so that's just an amazing new thing that the chatbot brings that you wouldn't have had with software before, software interfaces.
Yeah.
Another key strategy is what I think of AI. There's the generative stuff, right? So everyone's used to ChatGPT, and there's all the, throwing your hands in the air. Oh my gosh, it's hallucinating. It's I had to write an email and it went off the rails and told my boss bad things or whatever, right? Like that is, well, first of all, it doesn't happen that much anymore. But secondly, I'm thinking of AI much more along the lines of what it does in the back end. So yes, the chat, have the members talk to the content and get their answers done. But what can we automate in the back that will not necessarily appear to be AI, but AI can take advantage of its understanding of the world, of the industry, of your software stack, of whatever, and make things happen. So it's really automation that AI allows, right?
Right.
So that's a big part of it too. Like, if we can take the jobs to be done in any role in an association or anything in the industry, but let's just pick associations, and then automate away the tedious stuff or do things that you should be doing but aren't because you don't have time.
Right.
Like, that's where we are focusing, right? Like,
right.
If I can take 80% of the calls into the membership coordinator and answer them with a bot, then we don't have to worry about that work, and they can do things like, oh, there's this new program we've been wanting to do for years, and now we can do it, or it just really kind of like freeing up the humans for what humans only can do, which is the creative stuff, right? And then getting tedious, repetitive, just things you wouldn't get to kind of things off the table. So it's a combination of all those things. We have a lot of technology coming out. It has made it so we can release new software at a rate 3 or 4x what we did years ago.
Right.
And so we have features or products coming out every month that's along these lines, which is super exciting to me as a product guy. Yeah. So
I'm curious, like our AI council work, we're looking at everything that could be automated. We're looking at, to save that human talent and energy for things that have more of an impact. So, and that's what we look for in our technology partners, and it's great. Now, overall, when we talk about training, we have a co-pilot test group, we have ChatGPT test groups, we have a lot of marketing technology test groups, and we have to bring people along at the pace that they're comfortable with. Some people are terrified of AI. Some people are embracing it, and we got to make sure they're using it safely and securely. I'm curious, what's the greatest pushback that you've gotten from associations about your AI strategy? What are the fears? And how are you kind of getting them past that?
Yeah, I haven't heard a lot of pushback from our clients, to your point. I mean, I do get it the same way you do from our employees, right? That developers, for example, think they can do it better than the AI just because they ask the AI to do it and only does it 80% right. And they're like, come on, now I got to fix it. Well, yeah, you couldn't have done that 80% in a second, right? So fixing the last 20 is better. And so you got to bring them along, right? You got to make it part of their workflow and stuff. I'm not hearing a ton of pushback from clients. I think there's the standard stuff of we need to get it approved, we need it to be compliant with our rules, things like that, right? The sort of startup cost, I call it. Yeah. We started ours in September of 23, and it took a couple of months to get through SOC 2 compliance and review procedures and this kind of stuff you're talking about. Your council probably did already, but had to be formed to do, right? There are many of our clients are a little behind on that, and so we've got to kind of push them, and we share all the documentation that we created and the processes and procedures that we wrote, because we just want to advance everything, right? So they can adopt that, but getting them the first step, and then once they're there, it's much easier. So we released our AI assistant in beta in October of last year. We betaed that with IBM, who was our partner in making it. They're a client of ours. And so, we released it to the world in April, and we have 100 clients on it, which sounds like a lot, but we have 1,500 clients that could be on it, right?
Yeah,
so on the one hand, 100 in a couple of months is great. But we got to speed that pace up to get to 1,500 by the end of the year, which is my goal, right? I want all the clients using it, and it is just a switch to turn it on. So hopefully it's not a big thing, but and we don't charge for it. So turn it on and you're rocking and rolling. But I get the sort of hesitation. What if it says something wrong or bad or whatever? Those are the kinds of things I think people just need to get over. Yeah. So it's less organizations and more people, I think, to your point earlier.
Yeah, exactly. So this is kind of more of a general question. So you've seen thousands of associations, 1,500. You work with 1,500. What distinguishes the ones that really are thriving and growing in today's environment? Are there things that distinguish them from other associations?
Yeah, so we actually work with 2,500. We have 1,500 on the community, and another 1,000 on our various other products. But I think taking advantage of technology is a big thing, right? I mean, there's always what you talked about, putting on the events and talking to the people and bringing them together physically is huge, right? Mm-hmm. That's not going to change. But I do think being forward thinking, right? So we have these 2,500 clients that we're working with. There's 10,000 we could be working with, 20,000 internationally. And not all of them are as quick to adopt technology. And so I do think that's been important, but it's going to be more important over the next couple of years. Google's going away, right? Google search. It's already dead. Yep. I was gonna say they don't know it. I'm sure they do know it, but they're hanging on. The world is seeing 55% drop in traffic over the last 2 years to all the news sites and so forth. So you're gonna have to change the way you think, and you're gonna have to change it way faster than you would have before, right? So people are saying, "Well, we redo our website every 5 years." Yeah, you got to redo it now if you're going to take advantage of anything, right? It's not like we just did it and we can wait 5 years. No, that's done, right? Yeah. So I think over the next 2 years, and things are changing so rapidly, but you're going to, the leaders of the associations who are actually plugged into these kinds of changes and are thinking about this and taking advantage of it are going to do way better than ones who are saying, well, let's just see how it shakes out and, we'll figure things out. I'm afraid that attitude is going to be incredibly detrimental because who's going to come to you? How are they going to find you? You need to be on top of these things. One of the new things, and I think you and I talked about this before, was the whole AIO thing, right? Like
Yeah.
the new SEO, right? And so they've broken that down recently into AEO and GEO. AEO being the answer engine optimization, which is just a different way of formatting your content on your website so that the answer engines, ChatGPTs of the world, can use your content and say, I got this from, abc.org, and here's what they think, right? But the other one, though, that I think is going to be very interesting is GEO side of it. So GEO is about, this answer is probably right because it was answered by an authority, right? The authority being someone who knows what they're talking about. And GEO really emphasizes content by experts, and associations are really just collections of experts, right? If you think any association, especially when they have lots of letters or in their acronym, right? They're very niche, and those members have a lot of experience in a very niche thing. Who do you want to ask questions about that niche? You want to ask them, right? So we're redesigning our content management system to really focus. So we've always had the member profile, right? And the member profile is like, oh, here's what I'm interested in. Here's what I've done. We're looking at more like, well, this needs to be citations of events where I've spoken, papers I've written, blogs I've written, where I've been published in peer-reviewed journals. That kind of stuff is going to matter bigly, I like to say, bigly over the next few quarters. I mean, not years, quarters. You're going to have to get there. And so is another advantage associations are going to have in the future is they have those people. Right. Those people write that content for them. That content is authoritative. The ChatGPTs of the world love authoritative content because then their answers are right, right? Versus an amalgamation of 15 random people that they put together to generate some answer. It's like, no, this is written by a Nobel laureate, and so in his subject or her subject, it's going to be right.
Right.
So
and these papers were published supporting that, and
exactly
that makes me rethink our entire corporate website now. Because
unfortunately,
our biggest asset is people, right? That's who we are. We are a group of people that manage associations, and our bios, our knowledge base, are really thinking through how we would structure that and the type of things we would want on a simple bio, like links to articles and credentials, and oh my gosh,
exactly,
we have a lot of work to do.
Exactly.
In the next quarter.
We all do.
You gave that quarter.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It only came out last quarter, by the way. You got to do my
Great. Yeah. It's so fun being a marketer these days. By a minute.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
By fun, you mean challenging.
All right. Yes. Well, this has been great. So now we are going to switch to our rapid fire Q&A.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So this is where I'm just going to throw a question out. First thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is your current state of mind?
Excited. I'm just so bullish on the future. I'm excited.
Good. I am too. If you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be?
Oh, change one thing about myself. I'd like to have more time.
Yeah.
If I literally write software or run the company, one or the other, 16 hours a day. If there were just 16 more hours in the day, I would use them all for the same thing. I just love doing this stuff. So I'm not sure that's the thing about me so much as it is about space time, but I need more time. Maybe I can clone myself. Can I clone myself?
There you go.
Is that a good answer?
Ask AI.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's right. I'll make a digital version of me and then have it do half my work.
A digital brain that you could use.
Exactly.
Okay, you and I travel a lot for our jobs. Mm-hmm. What is your favorite city?
Probably either Paris or Sydney. I love Paris and Sydney. Well, Washington, D.C. I probably have to put first. That was my home for most of my life. I've moved away since, and when I go back, I hate the traffic, but I love the town more so than I realized when I lived there. So that's up there. But Sydney and Paris, I just love those cities as well.
Awesome. All right. Which words or phrases do you most overuse?
Oh, man. Let's see. What do I overuse?
Is bigly?
Right now,
what about bigly?
Bigly, yes, Bigly. I use Bigly a lot. I sort of pick a word or phrase for a period and overuse it. So today it's like reimagine. I use reimagine all the time. Yep. I don't use it like in just daily conversation, like with a waitress at a restaurant, but like when I'm in business, I do talk about reimagine a lot. So that's a good one.
That is a good one. All right. Which historical figure do you most identify with?
A historical figure do I most identify with? I don't know. That's a good question. I haven't heard that one before. Historical figure. I can't think of anything good. It would have to be someone in tech. I don't know if
or an inventor.
Bill Gates is a historical figure, but what's
an
that?
Inventor, like
an inventor. Yeah, probably an inventor, a creative person. A tech person, tech entrepreneur. Not that I compare myself to a Bill Gates or a Steve Jobs, but those are people that inspire me, right?
Yeah.
So
I like that. All right, this is the last one.
Okay.
If you could pick
harder than the other ones,
a profession other than the one you're in now, what would it be?
Oh man, I would pick the one I'm in now. I love it so much. But other than that, like I can't do this anymore. Like computers are just gone. I got to do something different. Probably architecture. Ooh. I mean, I'm a software architect. I could be a house architect. I could do something in woodworking. Maybe I like working with my hands. So probably one of those two. Something creative for sure. Yeah. But also engineering. This is what I love about architecture is it's both.
Yeah.
And so the software architecture is the same.
Yeah.
Obviously different, but the same. So yeah, I'd be an architect, I guess.
Yeah, I like that. It definitely brings in a little bit more creativity to the engineering side too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Oh, well, thank you so much for your time, Rob. This has been great conversation. I'm so excited to see what's coming out next from Higher Logic. And
I want to get on your council. Can I get on your council? I want to hear what you're talking about.
Oh, on the AI council? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. You're the boss.
Yeah.
I want to know what you want.
We would love that. We would love that.
Right,
oh, yeah. There's definitely some opportunities for you to contribute.
All right, good. Excellent.
Yeah, we'll follow up with you on that.
Okay. Sounds
all right.
good.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, everybody. And join us next time for the Bostrom b.cast on everything associations love to talk about and what's going on in the world today.